Hello and welcome. In the countdown to Remembrance Sunday, we're honouring the heroes of war, both on the battlefields and the home front.
From service personnel to civilians, we're recalling the incredible stories of courage and sacrifice.
Join us as the people remember. All this week, I'm with former Army officer Andy Torbet at the Imperial War Museum, London, uncovering surprising facts.
I'm so excited, I'm so pleased, I can't believe it.
We're meeting people with experience of conflict both on the battlefield and on the home front.
The last time I was in here was 1943.
Including some well-known faces.
And you just realise that the reason why he wouldn't talk about it was just horrific.
On this morning's programme, determined to keep the spirit alive.
And I'm sure that all the veterans here today will be thinking of the guys that didn't come home with us, you know.
70 years after D-Day, our Normandy veterans come together for one last time before laying their standard to rest.
Young, willing and able, a story of the boy soldier who lied about his age so he could serve his country.
And the war hero this family thought they'd lost forever.
It was a mystery until we found out that his body, his remains, had been found.
Finally laid to rest, thanks to little luck and a lot of detective work.
Good morning from Imperial War Museum, London, a place that tells the story of Britain's conflicts and brings visitors face to face with our wartime past. One of its collections focuses on June the 6th, 1944, the day that 150,000 men landed on the beaches of France. D-Day was years in the planning, and the assault, codenamed Operation Overlord, marked the start of the liberation of Western Europe from the Nazis.
One of the men who played a role on that historic day was Basil Tarrant, a former major in the British Army and the father of today's guest, Chris Tarrant. Chris, good morning.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Now, you knew very little about your father's involvement in the war until you discovered his diaries.
He just wouldn't talk about it. Dad seemed to get to 1945, I'm still alive, I'll go look for a job. And that seemed, he had no nightmares, anything, and he never talked about it.
So how did you come across his diaries then?
It actually was a horrible story. When my mum died, in the week after she died, her home, the house where I grew up, where she lived with Dad for 60 years, was burgled by some little tow rags. And the only one thing that came out of it, Dad's dear old, battered old desk, where he sit typing away with two fingers. Things fell out. There were some medals, they didn't take any of the important ones. The one thing that was in the rubble on the floor of my parents' house was this diary. And it was Dad's diary, some information, not a lot, but some, about what World War II was like, what D-Day was like. So from that, I had to then start filling all the blanks. And you just realise that the reason why he wouldn't talk about it was just horrific. The stuff that, you know, the stuff they went through.
Well, Chris, stay with us because you're going to tell us some more of his fascinating story later on, but thanks for now. In June this year, some of the surviving D-Day heroes from across the globe gathered together on the beaches of northern France to mark the 70th anniversary of their incredible achievements.
But as the Normandy Veterans Association prepares to officially disband later this month, due to dwindling numbers and members finding it increasingly difficult to travel, we've been meeting some who are determined to keep the spirit alive.
Going through my mind was, am I going to stay alive?
It was the morning of the 6th of June 1944, and the largest amphibious invasion force the world had ever seen was assembled.